There comes a moment in every person's life when they face their reflection and realize they've been stuck, not growing, just drifting through days that blur into weeks, weeks that collapse into years, until the crushing weight of lost time hits like a tidal wave. The ancient Stoics saw this trap coming over 2,000 years ago, and their wisdom still burns bright, cutting through the haze of modern distractions. Seneca, one of their sharpest minds, said, "You act like mortals in what you fear and like immortals in what you crave," a truth that stabs deep because it exposes the contradiction in how we live. We cower from small obstacles, a tough conversation, a grueling workout, the effort of learning something new, yet we behave as if we have infinite tomorrows to chase our dreams, to build that business, to have that hard talk, to become who we're meant to be. But time isn't ripped away from you, it's not stolen by others, you hand it over freely, minute by minute, choice by choice, until one day you wake up disoriented, wondering where your life went. The Stoics, through voices like Seneca, understood this better than almost anyone, recognizing that most people don't truly live, they delay life, staying in endless preparation, always on the cusp of starting, always whispering later to themselves. My friend, it's not laziness that kills your potential, it's postponement, that seductive voice promising you'll take your health seriously tomorrow. Launch Wisdom Waves Aura next week, have that tough conversation next month, invest in your future self when the time feels right. But tomorrow is a dangerous illusion, promising everything and delivering nothing, leaving you with a soul full of regrets. As Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote, with your music still trapped inside you, your ambitions unrealized, your stories unwritten, your dreams unbuilt. The Stoics lived differently, embracing urgency tied to mindfulness, choosing deliberate progress over waiting for spontaneous breakthroughs. They knew the gap between who you are and who you could be only closes through steady, disciplined action. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at his time, scribbled in his private journal that when the sun rises and you resist waking, you must remind yourself your duty is to act as a human, not an emperor, not a ruler, but a human, because our core mission isn't chasing status, money, or praise, it's fulfilling our unique potential, becoming all we're capable of. Look around, so many have stopped evolving, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, drifting into comfortable passivity, moving through routines without intention, consuming without purpose, mistaking existence for life. But this message isn't for those content with drifting, it's for you, the one who feels that quiet fire in your chest, that fierce whisper shouting you were made for more. If that blaze still burns, it's time to stop negotiating with your potential and start shaping the future you were born to live. Wisdom Waves Aura isn't just a channel, it's a call to action, a beacon for those ready to move from knowing to doing, from dreaming to building. This isn't about fleeting motivation that fades by next week, it's a strategic wake-up call, built on timeless Stoic principles that have transformed lives for centuries. The brutal truth is, if you keep living passively, trusting there's always another tomorrow, blaming external forces for internal failures, waiting for a perfect moment that never arrives, you'll reach the end of your life carrying a soul heavy with what-ifs and regret, the heaviest weight a person can bear, as the Stoics taught. Epictetus, once a slave who rose to global influence, asked a question that should haunt anyone delaying their greatness: how much longer will you wait before demanding excellence from yourself? Answer it honestly, haven't you delayed enough? Starting now, act with urgency, not anxiety, not chaos, but the unwavering urgency of someone who knows time is the one thing you can't recover. Build your life piece by piece, decision by decision, day by day, because no one else can fight this battle for you. This is your path, your creation. Let's dive into the first principle: stop bargaining with your procrastination. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest to master. You must silence the inner dialogue that excuses your weakness, end the daily mental tug-of-war between who you are and who you know you can become. Marcus Aurelius, leading an empire through wars, plagues, and chaos, still faced that voice begging for rest, for ease, for just a few more minutes of escape. He wrote, "When you don't want to rise in the morning, recall this thought: I rise to perform my role as a human." Let that sink in. The most powerful man of his time, surrounded by wealth and power, had to fight the same inner battles we all do. What made him exceptional wasn't his status, it was his refusal to negotiate with mediocrity. Every morning, he waged war on that whisper of weakness, knowing the defining battles of our lives are fought in those moments where willpower collides with the lure of comfort. That same mindset is critical for you, because nothing sabotages potential faster than repeatedly bargaining with your inner laziness. Think back over the last few weeks. How many times did you talk yourself out of what you promised? Your alarm buzzes, and you instantly rationalize, "Just a few more minutes, I'll get up early tomorrow, I'm tired because yesterday was rough." You planned to work out but convinced yourself to start next week. You meant to create content for WisdomWavesAura but scrolled social media instead, pretending it was research. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, something subtle but dangerous happens. Your self-respect erodes, your trust in your own word fades, you start seeing yourself as someone with great intentions but weak follow-through, someone who means well but can't keep promises to themselves. The Stoics didn't see discipline as punishment or rigidity, they saw it as a sacred duty, the quiet honor of keeping your word to yourself when every part of you craves the easier path. That's where real confidence is born, in the small promises you keep, the workouts you finish, the videos you post on WisdomWavesAura despite feeling unprepared. The Stoics also knew laziness isn't just physical, like dodging exercise, it's mental. Convincing yourself planning is the same as doing, emotional, avoiding tough talks or staying in toxic environments because change is uncomfortable, and spiritual, refusing to align your actions with your deepest values. Laziness isn't a habit, it's a mental pattern that deepens every time you give in, but the flip side is true too. Discipline grows stronger with every repetition, every choice to act over delay, every decision to push through discomfort. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, deliberately choosing difficulty when ease was an option, waking early, eating simply, training their minds and bodies, not out of masochism but to prepare for life's inevitable challenges. By overcoming small resistances, they built the strength to face bigger ones. When you keep small promises, you forge the backbone for bigger ones, creating a deep certainty that you're reliable, worthy of responsibility, worthy of opportunity. Ask yourself, what is procrastination costing you right now? It's stealing time, the one resource you can't reclaim. It's robbing you of chances, because while you hesitate, someone with less talent but more discipline is stepping up. It's straining your confidence, chipping away at your belief in your ability to follow through. Worst of all, it's eroding your future, not in one dramatic blow but through daily choices that quietly diminish the life you could have. The business you dreamed of for WisdomWavesAura gets built by someone else, the skill you meant to master gets honed by someone more consistent, the relationships you wanted to nurture grow elsewhere because someone braver acted. Stoicism teaches you must gain control over yourself before life forces control upon you. The perfect time to break procrastination isn't when you feel inspired, motivation is fleeting and unreliable, the right moment is now, regardless of how you feel. So how do you crush procrastination with Stoic discipline? First, expect resistance, don't be shocked when your mind and body crave comfort, everyone faces it, even Marcus Aurelius did. The difference is how you respond. Second, build routines that don't depend on emotion, whether you're energized or drained, execute your habits, create autopilot momentum. Third, reduce temptation and friction, don't rely on willpower alone, set your environment to win, keep your phone out of the room to focus on WisdomWavesAura content, prep your gym gear the night before, design your world to support your commitments. Fourth, reframe discomfort as progress, not punishment. The ache from the workout is your body evolving, the frustration of learning is your brain rewiring, the tension of a hard talk is your courage growing. Pain is proof you're rising. If you're reading this and realizing you've been bargaining with procrastination, forgive yourself. You can't change the past, but you can shape what comes next. From now on, Draw a line. The upgraded you doesn't negotiate with weakness. You wake when the alarm sounds, no excuses. You work even when tired, because discipline performs when motivation fails. You create for WisdomWavesAura even when uninspired, because consistency builds strength. These tiny acts of loyalty to yourself will spark a revolution. Your thinking sharpens, your body strengthens, your character becomes reliable, your life transforms not by luck but through relentless effort. The Stoic path isn't soft, but it leads to real excellence, true inner strength, and the deep fulfillment of becoming who you're meant to be. Comfort is a golden cage, discipline is the key. Declare it now. I refuse to negotiate with laziness. Next, create brutal honesty around your purpose. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence, they fail because they're unclear, they don't know what they truly want, why they wake up each day. Their energy scatters in too many directions, chasing things that don't matter. This lack of clarity breeds overwhelm, which turns into inaction. Seneca wrote, "If you don't know which port you're sailing to, no wind is favorable," meaning no amount of effort, hours, or motivation matters if you're aimless. Modern life tempts you with distractions at every turn. You can spend years being busy without building anything meaningful, exhausting yourself chasing goals that aren't even yours, dreams inherited from society, family, or culture, not your soul. You can climb the ladder of success only to find it's leaning against the wrong wall. Clarity must become a daily practice, not a once-a-year journal entry or vision board. It's forged in confrontation, sitting alone and asking hard questions. Who am I becoming? What do I value above all? Where is my time going? What am I avoiding? What drains me? What have I outgrown but still cling to out of fear? Marcus Aurelius reflected every morning and evening, using his journal not for inspiration but to interrogate his motives, realign with what mattered, strip away the unnecessary. Most people avoid this work, scared of what they'll find, so they stay vague. And vague people live vague lives. But those who dare to look clearly gain an extraordinary edge, power, because once you're clear, decisions become effortless, distractions lose their grip, your time becomes sacred, you stop entertaining nonsense, you move with intent. Clarity gives your discipline direction, your energy a home. It stops you from becoming one of those people always working hard but going nowhere, burning out chasing shiny objects, starting and quitting endless projects because they never defined what success means to them. Ask yourself right now, what do you want your life to stand for? Not what impresses others, not what looks good on a resume, what matters to you. What are your non-negotiables, the values you won't trade, the relationships you want to cultivate, the legacy you want to leave, the mind, body, and spirit you want to carry through the world? If you can't answer, you're living by default, not design, reactive instead of proactive. The hard truth is, if you don't design your life, someone else will, and they won't have your best interests in mind. That's how people become pawns in someone else's vision. Clarity isn't just a 5-year plan, it's knowing what to say no to today, filtering your actions through your highest aims, not being rigid but being aligned. Aligned people are peaceful, not because life is easy, but because they know what to ignore. Epictetus advised always asking, "Is this essential?" before acting, a question that can cut 80% of the clutter from your mind and schedule, because most of what you stress about is noise, not necessity. The opposite of clarity is chaos, waking up with no plan, checking your phone before your thoughts, reacting instead of directing. Clarity flips that, putting you in the driver's seat, making your goals real, transforming your energy from scattered to focused, from tired to precise. To build ruthless clarity, start by defining your destination, not just "I want to be successful," but what success looks like in detail, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually. What does a powerful life look like to you? Describe it vividly, because what the mind can picture, the body can pursue. Next, reverse engineer the path. What would someone living that life do daily? What habits would they follow? What distractions would they avoid? What time would they wake up? Who would they associate with? What would they consume? Compare that to your current life. Any gap is your homework. Then cut the noise, delete apps, say no to events that don't align, end relationships that drain your clarity, stop giving your attention to people who don't respect your energy, simplify your world to amplify your results. Finally, review daily. Clarity isn't a one-time event, it's a ritual. Each night ask, did my actions align with my vision? What did I tolerate that I shouldn't have? What small step can I take tomorrow to close the gap? This keeps you locked in. The world rewards those who know what they're about, people follow those with vision, trust those with purpose. The Stoics became immortalized not for being loud but for living with extraordinary intention. Clarity is your edge in a world addicted to distraction, your ability to focus is your freedom, direction is your strength. Declare it, I live with ruthless clarity. Now, discipline your emotional boundaries. True power isn't controlling others, it's controlling your reactions, pausing before responding, feeling emotions without being ruled by them, creating that sacred gap between what happens and what you choose to do next. That's where emotional freedom lives. In today's world, outrage is the norm, offense is currency, everyone's ready to explode, cancel, or condemn, but the Stoics saw this as weakness dressed as righteousness. True strength is stillness, not noise. Epictetus taught that it's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them, meaning no one and nothing can make you angry, upset, or ashamed unless you allow it. You've been surrendering your peace to things you could ignore, your triggers are your teachers. The average person is pulled by every mood, hijacked by every opinion, provoked by every petty inconvenience, spiraling into drama over things they can't control. The Stoic observes, feels the emotion rise, but doesn't become it, they choose their response. Emotional distance isn't coldness, it's clarity in the storm, responding with virtue instead of reacting from ego. When someone insults you, your instinct might be to snap back, defend yourself, escalate, but what if you paused, realized their words say more about them than you, and chose to stay centered? That's strength, not because you didn't feel it, but because you weren't controlled by it. When plans collapse, the weak crumble, shouting, blaming, complaining, while the strong adapt with grace, sitting with discomfort and asking, what can I control? What lesson is here? Stoicism doesn't suppress emotion, it creates space to step back, to insert that gap where mastery lives, where wisdom resides, where peace is born, not in the absence of hardship but in the presence of composure. We're conditioned to think reacting fast is sharpness, but it's just autopilot, handing your power to outside forces. Emotional distance is your reset button, letting you live on your terms, not your impulses. Practice this. Next time anger rises, don't suppress it, don't act on it, acknowledge it silently, breathe, ask what it's teaching you, if it's worth your energy, what outcome you want. When someone disappoints you, don't rush to judgment, reflect, did they betray you or did you place expectations they never agreed to? When envy hits, don't shame yourself, investigate, is their success threatening you or exposing where you've neglected your growth? Emotional distance turns emotion into insight. Marcus Aurelius, burdened by an empire, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events, realize this and you will find strength." That's your compass. You may not control the world, but you govern what you become through it. This isn't easy, triggers are deep, some from childhood, some from unhealed wounds, but every time you pause, refuse to be pulled into old loops, you weaken their grip, you evolve. Warriors are built by dominating their emotions, standing still while others flinch, keeping their center when others collapse. The Stoic respects emotion but puts it in its place. Challenge yourself, respond slowly, hold silence instead of speaking too soon, walk away from emotional bait, choose calm over chaos. Make it a ritual, pause, breathe, choose. Over time, chaos loses its hold, insults bounce off, you stop being dragged into every argument, every drama, every fear spiral. You become someone others trust, not just for your wisdom but for your calm when it counts. Most importantly, you trust yourself, knowing you're no longer at the mercy of emotion, you lead it, you guide it, you use it. Declare it, I control my emotions, they do not control me. Embrace total responsibility. No one is coming to save you, not your boss, not your parents, not your partner, not luck, not fate. Your life is yours, and the sooner you claim full ownership, the sooner you gain power. Most people live in quiet blame, pointing fingers, crafting excuses for why they're stuck, broke, or unfulfilled, saying they didn't get the right start, the economy's against them, people don't understand them. It sounds reasonable, but it's poison. The Stoics rejected this mindset, believing the highest strength is owning your role in everything you experience. Epictetus taught we can't control what happens, but we command how we respond, and our response shapes our reality. This isn't about guilt, it's about authority, reclaiming the parts of your life you've outsourced. Every time you blame someone else, you give them control. Every I can't because of them hands them the wheel of your future. That's not power, that's surrender. We all carry stories that shield us from pain, like I'd be successful if I had more support, I'd be confident if people believed in me, I'd be in shape if I wasn't so busy. These stories keep you safe but small. Taking ownership shatters them, standing in the discomfort of truth, looking at your finances, relationships, habits, health, time, and asking, what have I allowed here, what decisions have I made or avoided that led to this? It's not about self-blame, it's about self-empowerment, because if you created it, you can change it. Ownership unlocks possibility, turning you from a victim of circumstances to a creator of direction. Imagine two people facing the same setback. One says, why is this happening to me? The other asks, what can I learn from this? One waits, the other moves, one complains, the other adjusts. The one who owns the moment outgrows the one who resists it. Marcus Aurelius, despite his imperial power, never used status as an excuse, writing, you have the power to strip away unnecessary troubles, they lie entirely in your judgment. Your suffering is often not in the situation but in how you interpret it. Where are you waiting instead of acting, hoping for rescue instead of responding, silently blaming instead of changing? No one owes you a great life, but you owe it to yourself to create one. No one has to believe in you, but you must move forward without applause. No one is obligated to fix your past, but you can build a future that redeems it. Ownership doesn't mean you won't stumble, it means you own your falls, your misses, your outbursts, your avoidance, admitting them, correcting them, growing from them. That's how you build unshakable self-respect, not through perfection but through integrity. The person who owns their flaws becomes unstoppable, because no one can use your mistakes against you when you've claimed them, no one can weaponize your past when you've turned it into fuel. Start today, remove blame from your vocabulary, turn every complaint into a question, what can I do about this? Point the thumb, not the finger, not because you're at fault, but because you're capable. Turn frustration into action, disappointment into lessons, weakness into a gym. This is the Stoic path, not the easiest, but the one that builds warriors. When you live this way, you stop needing permission, begging for fairness, or chasing shortcuts. You build quietly, relentlessly, until you become the person you once admired. You'll know this life, this peace, this power, is yours, because you built it. Declare it, I own my life fully and completely. Stop explaining yourself. There comes a moment in your evolution when you no longer feel the need to justify your path, not because you're arrogant, but because you're focused, not because you're better, but because you're becoming. You stop broadcasting every move, seeking approval for every decision, shrinking to fit others' understanding. Most won't get it, and that's okay, your mission wasn't sent to them, it was sent to you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it's not right, don't do it, if it's not true, don't say it, no mention of explaining it. Your life is your statement, your actions your philosophy, your progress your proof. The trap is spending more energy explaining what you're doing than doing it, trying to convince the world you're serious about WisdomWavesAura when real conviction shows up in results, not words. If you're constantly explaining, pause, ask, Am I justifying my growth to people committed to staying the same, dimming my light to avoid being misunderstood? You will be misunderstood, especially as you evolve, break patterns, rise in silence, because people can't grasp transformation they haven't experienced, often seeing your growth as judgment of their stagnation. That's not your burden. You don't owe anyone footnotes for your healing, a backstory for your boundaries, or a thesis to start fresh. The moment you decided to upgrade your life, you gave yourself permission. That's all you need. This doesn't mean being cold or secretive, it means being solid, standing in a room of doubters with your head high, no longer explaining why you left, why you changed, why you dream bigger, why you demand more, why you stopped showing up for what drains you. The person you're becoming doesn't explain, they embody. Their discipline speaks louder than promises, their focus silences excuses, their results quiet critics. Have you ever made a decision you knew was right but softened it for others, saying, "I'm sorry, I just need time, I didn't mean to pull away, I hope you understand"? You weren't sorry, you were evolving, protecting their comfort at the cost of your clarity. No more. You're not on trial, not required to prove your worth, choices, or pace. Every second spent defending yourself steals energy from building yourself. The Stoics didn't parade their values, they practiced them, grounded, not loud, giving themselves permission to live with integrity. Move in silence, execute relentlessly, let your peace be loud, your character clear, your growth your explanation. People will talk, speculate, misunderstand, let them, that's not your business. Your business is showing up, becoming, living in alignment with your values, not their expectations. When you stop explaining, you start expanding, reclaiming mental space, rebuilding energy, sharpening focus, walking forward without looking sideways. The need to explain was never about clarity, it was about fear of being disliked, alone, judged, but once you face that fear, it fades, leaving liberation. You're not obligated to be accessible to everyone, not required to dilute your intensity, allowed to outgrow, evolve, elevate without warning. Declare it, I owe no explanations, I live in alignment. Reinforce your discipline every day. Discipline isn't a one-time win, it's not mastered once and kept forever, it's a muscle, and if you don't train it, it weakens, if you skip reps, it fades, if you rely on yesterday's strength, you'll fall short today. The disciplined don't celebrate once and coast, they wake up and build again, not because they're obsessed, but because they know consistency is freedom. Discipline doesn't mean grinding every second or punishing yourself, it means doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, honoring promises to yourself, especially when no one's watching. The Stoics lived this, without apps or trackers, relying on inner accountability, knowing a virtuous life is paved with repeated action, not grand speeches or intense spurts, but small, consistent efforts. Seneca wrote, "While we teach, we learn, and while we practice discipline, we reinforce it, each repetition building identity, every act declaring, this is who I am." No one is disciplined by default, everyone struggles, everyone hears the voice saying, "You've done enough, it doesn't matter today, start tomorrow." If you listen long enough, that voice becomes your truth, but the disciplined hear it and choose differently, responding with action, not emotion, not negotiating with laziness, not waiting for motivation, moving because momentum is built, not given. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about returning every time you slip, tightening the standard, re-establishing the pattern daily. Start with preparation. What are you doing the night before? How does your morning look? Are you planning priorities or reacting to chaos? The disciplined anticipate distraction, guard their time, define their values in advance. Understanding willpower is limited, but systems are sustainable. You build discipline by showing up at the same time every morning, finishing what you start, pushing for one more rep, one more minute, one more page when quitting would be easier. Those tiny victories stack, becoming your standard. You crave the feeling of following through, no longer needing hype or applause, trusting yourself, and that trust becomes your power. This separates the committed from the curious dabble, showing up when convenient, the committed act, not asking if they feel like it, but acting their way into it. Discipline is a daily vote for your future, every choice for discomfort over delay, order over chaos, principle over pleasure affirms your identity. Don't confuse rest with weakness. Rest is strategic, the disciplined rest to return stronger, never quitting, never using fatigue as a crutch, recovering then resuming. The beauty is, you don't need to feel like it, you just need to begin. The act of starting fuels the desire to continue, motion creates mindset, doing drives desire. Say it, I rebuild my discipline every single day. Release what's beyond your control. The greatest act of power is letting go, not loud or dramatic, but silent, intentional, the quiet decision to stop wrestling with what's not yours, to stop draining yourself trying to fix what's out of your hands. Most suffering comes not from reality but from resistance, clinging to outcomes, expectations, stories about how things should be. Epictetus taught some things are up to us, some aren't, and peace begins with knowing the difference. You can't control the weather, traffic, market, timing, others' opinions, reactions, or betrayals. You can't force someone to grow, undo the past, or speed up what takes time, but you can control your effort, attitude, character, focus, interpretation, next step. That's where your power lives, not in chaos, but in response. Most people live inverted, obsessing over what they can't command, neglecting what they can, replaying conversations, chasing approval, spiraling in worry, clinging to timelines, confusing control with care. But control is a myth. What you want is influence, and influence begins with presence. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring, it means caring where it counts, not indifference but clarity, recognizing your energy is sacred, not every fire deserves your fuel. How much time have you spent arguing in your mind with someone not even there, crafting perfect outcomes only to be derailed by something uncontrollable? Imagine reclaiming that energy, redirecting it to your habits, mindset, preparation, purpose, the things that move the needle. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength, a practical strategy for sanity in an unpredictable world." When things don't go your way, pause, breathe, ask, is this within my command? If yes, act, if no, accept. That's the pivot, the mastery, not bending life to your will but bending with it without breaking. This isn't giving up, it's showing up differently, with grace, detachment, focus on your role, not the result, trust in the process, not obsession with the prize. Control is heavy, letting go is light. The more you release what's not yours, the faster you move. Your hands can't build your future if they're full of the past. Drop the need to be understood, the need for a perfect plan, the need to fix what broke, the need to know how it ends. Release the illusion, embrace the real. Life is fluid, growth is non-linear, peace is a choice. Say it, I let go of what isn't mine to hold. Silence is your strongest tool. In a world that rewards noise, stillness is power, not weakness, not absence, but control. Silence isn't retreat, it's restraint, the space between stimulus and response, the unshakable presence that says I see everything but don't owe you a reaction. Most people waste strength proving they have it, speaking to be heard, explaining, defending, oversharing, thinking loudness is strength. It's not. True power doesn't compete for attention, it holds its ground quietly. Zeno, the father of Stoicism, said we have 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen more and talk less, because silence isn't passive, it's strategic, the difference between reacting emotionally and responding wisely. The last time you stayed silent when you could have snapped, that wasn't weakness, that was command. It takes more force to hold your tongue than to throw words, especially when you're right, angry, or eager to prove a point. Silence unsettles, disarms, creates space where truth reveals itself, people expose their intentions, patterns emerge, clarity comes, all because you chose not to fill the air with noise. The disciplined mind knows every word costs energy, not every situation deserves the prize. Silence protects your focus, preserves your presence, gives you time to decide if the moment even needs your input. It also teaches, when you're not speaking, you're observing, sensing, processing, sharpening awareness, giving you an edge while others are distracted by their own noise. Let them talk, underestimate, overexpose, while you watch, wait, learn, move with precision. This isn't about being cold, it's about being selective, choosing words like arrows, not to be heard but to hit. And sometimes the most lethal arrow is none at all. Make peace with being misunderstood. You don't need to clear every rumor, explain every action, defend your growth to those committed to misinterpreting it. Your silence is your shield, your actions your proof. The Stoics didn't win arguments, they mastered themselves, finding calm not in talking but in knowing when not to. Next time you're tempted to react, ask, does this need my voice or my silence? Is this about truth or ego, a fight or a distraction? Choosing silence means standing taller, saying I don't lower myself for noise, I rise above it. Declare it, my silence is not absence, it's authority. Choose discomfort over convenience. Comfort whispers promises of ease, safety, pleasure, but it rarely delivers strength, grit, or resilience. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you trade growth for stagnation, sharpness for softness, potential for temporary peace. Slowly, you become a version of yourself that can't handle adversity because you've trained yourself to avoid it. The Stoics didn't worship comfort, they sought discomfort deliberately, taking cold baths, eating simple meals, fasting long hours, not to suffer but to prove they could endure, that their worth wasn't tied to luxury. Seneca advised setting aside days to live with the scantiest fare, coarse stress, asking, is this what I feared? You cannot grow inside your comfort zone, you must step into effort, risk, environments that stretch and sharpen you, not because you love pain, but because you choose becoming. Growth demands sacrifice, discipline, delayed gratification, early mornings, repetition, none of which exist in comfort. Comfort says stay, growth says go, comfort says you've done enough, growth says there's more in you. Comfort is addictive, it softens you, calls it self-love, dulls your instincts, convinces you they don't matter, promises peace but leaves you unprepared for reality. Real peace comes from a strong life, one that can face pressure, rejection, setbacks, and change without crumbling, a peace earned through challenge, friction, resilience. You don't have to reject all pleasure, but reject dependency. Train yourself to be okay without what most think is essential, be dangerous without hostility, unshakable without numbness. Stop chasing convenience, choose the hard workout, the tough conversation, the book over the scroll, the fast over the feast, the silence over the noise. Make it a habit to do what's hard, not because it's fun, but because it forges you. There's a fire inside you that only ignites under pressure, you won't find it sitting still, only in pursuit, in the climb, in the choice to do what most won't. Yes, it's lonely, tiring, easier to quit, but that's why you persist, because the comfort others worship is the trap you refuse to fall into. You weren't built for comfort, you were built for greatness. Declare it, I choose the difficult path, I reject the easy one. Keep your mind fortified. Your mind is your command center, where thoughts form, choices begin, your entire life shaped from the inside out. Yet most guard their phones with passwords, their homes with locks, but leave their minds open to whatever noise walks in. You wouldn't let just anyone into your house, so why let them into your head? Every day, your mind is under siege, algorithms fight for your attention, opinions flood your feed, negativity disguises itself as truth. If you're not conscious, not choosing what enters, you will wake up thinking thoughts that aren't yours. The Stoics treated the mind like sacred ground, Marcus Aurelius writing, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind, your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. They knew the cost of letting the outer world shape your inner life. If you want clarity, peace, strength, curate your inputs. Protect your mornings, guard your evenings, choose your conversations, audit your influences, train your mind like a warrior sharpens a blade, deliberately, consistently, without apology. You don't rise above chaos by consuming more of it, you don't focus by swimming in distraction, you don't find calm by soaking in drama. Your mind becomes what it's fed, so feed it wisdom, discipline, truth, stillness. This isn't isolation, it's filtration, not ignoring the world but deciding what deserves your focus, because attention is energy, and energy is finite. Your future is built with your thoughts, so are you building a fortress or a prison? If your mind is filled with fear, judgment, envy, comparison, anger, noise, don't expect peace, but if it's grounded in purpose, order, principle, awareness, strength becomes your default. Protect your mind by taking time alone, reading instead of scrolling, moving your body to shift your mood, speaking to yourself like a respected friend, catching lies before they become beliefs, choosing to respond, not react. Stay vigilant, negativity is subtle, sometimes whispering like reason, but the disciplined mind spots the difference and cuts it off before it settles. This is your final defense, not against the world but against the weakening of your spirit. The strong mind isn't born, it's built, in silence, in struggle, in choosing your narrative before the world writes it for you. Say it, my mind is mine, I choose what stays, I protect what matters. This journey through 10 Stoic principles isn't just a list, it's a code, not flashy, not trending, but eternal, quiet, unshakable. These aren't hacks, they're habits, not comfort zone quotes but cornerstones for a life of principle. If you've made it this far, you're not here to just survive, you're here to live with power, clarity, intention, honor. The world will tempt you with 1,000 escapes, urging you to shrink, numb, chase approval, seek shortcuts, but these truths are your reminder, you don't need more noise, you need self-command, not permission but purpose, not applause but alignment. Every principle is a tool, an anchor in the storm, a compass in chaos, a mirror when you forget who you are. Use them daily, say them aloud, write them down, etch them into your routine, your actions, your thoughts, because transformation happens in repetition, through small decisions made over and over until you become someone you don't recognize, in the best possible way. Let this be your declaration, I am no longer driven by emotion, noise, or the world's pace, I move by reason, discipline, principle, truth, I honor silence, choose discomfort, guard my thoughts, I no longer explain who I am, I embody it. When the world tries to distract, shake, rush, or define you, return to these 10, they are your edge, your protection, your code. WisdomWavesAura is more than a channel, it's a movement, a call to stop delaying and start building, to turn your fire into action, your potential into reality. Declare it now, in the comments, on your heart, in your life.